All right, guys. So normally, if we were in class together, we would go through this poem together to analyze it and discuss it. But since we are not, I'm going to go through it for you, with you. This is the poem Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost, and we are learning about this poem because it's in chapter 5 of The Outsiders. So the author, S.E. Hinton, didn't just throw this poem in there randomly. She threw it in there for a very good reason. It's actually going to come up again, and it's going to be closely tied to the theme of the whole novel. So while you're thinking of the theme of the poem, think about how it might tie in with the whole novel. So Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. Again, you can find this in chapter 5 of The Outsiders. And just follow along with me. You might want to take notes if that helps you. It starts with nature. Actually, I'm just going to read it first. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. So let's start line by line. It's a short poem, but there's a lot of meaning packed in there. So we have nature's first green is gold. So let's start with this. What do you think nature's first green might mean? And poems can be interpreted different ways. For me, nature's first green means like in the springtime, in the springtime when things first start to bloom and start to turn green. And even more than that, I think that it symbolizes that beginning of life, those first green in springtime. A lot of life begins in spring. So could symbolize the beginning of life or childhood or innocence, okay? And then it says that first green, or again, what it symbolizes, that innocence, childhood, first part of life, is gold. Now, do you think that Robert Frost means that it's actually gold? That doesn't make sense. Its first green is gold. No, it's symbolizing something again. Things that are gold are valuable or precious. Sorry. Precious or just good. In general, they're just good. Okay? So we're talking about this beginning of life, this youth, childhood, being good, valuable, precious. Okay, let's go to line 2. Her hardest hue to hold. Starting with her. I know when we teach this in class, people are like, who's her? Well, it's referring back here to nature. So her is nature. So it's nature's hardest hue to hold. That first green is nature's hardest hue, which means color, to hold. So that green color that happens in the springtime. So if you look around on the hills right now, you see all of this beautiful green. How long does that last? Not very long. It quickly turns to brown. Things start dying away. The green leaves on the tree start turning different colors. So it's a really hard color for her to hold. Again, think back to this. The symbolism is that childhood, that innocence, that beginning of life doesn't last long, right? It's hard to hold on to that innocence. Okay, so her early leaf's a flower. Again, her is still referring back to nature. So nature's early leaf's a flower. So if you think about trees that first bloom into flowers, and flowers might symbolize beauty, again, even innocence. So that beginning of life, that childhood, that youth is beautiful, innocent, but only so an hour. So again, does the author mean actually an hour? Does spring actually only last an hour? Does the leaf only last an hour? No, it just means that it's gone quickly. It goes really fast. That innocence or youth or childhood. Got to fix this. Okay. So the next line, then leaf subsides to leaf. So subsides means goes down. So what a leaf that's maybe that beautiful, that flower at first, then goes down to just a regular leaf, or maybe it changes colors, right? It doesn't last forever, only so an hour. And then Eden sank to grief. Now this line has a lot packed into it because Eden is what's called an allusion with an A, which means it's alluding to or referring to something else. In this case, it's a biblical allusion. So the story of Eden with Adam and Eve living in this perfect paradise, and that couldn't last long, right? That sank to grief means it went away. It couldn't last long. They couldn't live there forever. And there's a lot more that could be packed into that as well. So dawn goes down today. Again, dawn doesn't last long. It moves on today quickly. And then here's your big line. Nothing gold can stay, because we're repeating the title. So that must be very, very, very important, especially when we're talking about the theme. So when we're talking about the theme of the poem, think about this title. That's what the whole poem is saying. Nothing gold can stay. And remember, when we're talking about gold, we're talking about things that are valuable, precious, good, springtime, beginning of life, innocence, youth. Those are all hints for when you're talking about the theme. So again, hard to do a poetry analysis without you guys in person. Hopefully that helped you understand the poem a little bit better. But if you have further questions, please, as always, email me, let me know, and I will be happy to help.